It's Alan from yourweddinghub.com. It is Friday. That means it's the day for the story of the week. Now, I'm standing out in front of the chapel at Stanley Park, one of my chapels in downtown Vancouver. And I've got to tell you a story about how this chapel all came together. The chapel is just behind me and over my right shoulder. The doors that you see there, those are the doors that enter into the chapel. And I'm recording this video on Friday, April 7th, 2011. So, you know, you may be watching this in 2015, but, and our 10th anniversary of our first wedding is coming up on April 20th. Now, this has got nothing to do with weddings, really. It has everything to do with having a dream. So, brides, grooms, if you got dreams, I'm telling you, you got to go after them. Because that's what my wife and I had, was just a dream. We didn't have anything in the pocket because we were broke, and we didn't have a daddy with deep pockets or anybody to help us out with that. But we had a dream, and we wanted to start this wedding chapel. And we had our first wedding booked, and it was on April 20th, and it was for a company that brought couples over from Japan to get married here. And it happened to be April 9th when the drywallers finished doing all the drywalling. And in the photo you may notice a beautiful barrel vault ceiling that kind of goes down the center aisle. And they had just finished, and because I was broke, I was going to have to do the painting myself. And so I went in at 4 o'clock in the afternoon of April 9th, 10 years ago, and I was up on some scaffolding right just at the top of that dome over the altar area, and I was sanding, just getting ready to put on the first coat of paint. Well, the platform on that scaffold took off. I think it thought it was a sled, because it went out from under me, just took off like that and dropped me down through the middle of the frame. And on the way through, I'm going like this with my face, just bouncing off the frame of the scaffolding. Also had my arm up and just caught my arm and did major damage to it. But really the most serious damage was to my face, which you're probably, you know, now you realize why I'm not even going to go there. But anyway, what happened was I landed literally on my feet and walked away. But it wasn't too many seconds before all of a sudden I was soaked in blood. See, what had happened was I pushed my two top teeth out through my bottom lip. This tooth right here shoved up and ended up in my nose. Believe it or not, no kidding. And I was just, you know what the first thought was when I saw all this blood? Oh no, I've knocked my front teeth out. How can I do weddings with no teeth? You gotta know, I'm passionate about weddings. So I walked away. And when I thought that I'd lost, so I put my tongue up, and sure enough, there was a big hole where my front tooth should have been. Well, there was a guy working outside here, and he heard the crashing of the scaffolding hitting the ground, came running in, and he saw, I was a bloody mess, I gotta tell you. And he said to me, okay, I've got my first aid ticket, let me take a look. And I was pretty near in tears, not from the pain, but thinking, oh, I'm gonna do weddings. And he said, well, you're going to have some stitches in your face because you put your teeth out through your bottom lip. And you know what my first thought was? I'm going to have scars all over my face. How can I do weddings with scars? Well, you know what? I went to the hospital. I went into the washroom at the hospital, and I fished around, and I found that tooth, pulled it back down, shoved it back into place, got my face all stitched up. My wife and I were back in here the next morning. My arm was in pretty rough shape, but we started painting. And 10 days later, we had it finished and ready for our first wedding. So the chapel at Stanley Park is it's got a pretty special place in my heart because I literally shed blood for the place. But we've had a lot of incredible memories. Now in this neat location here, which you can also check out on yourweddinghub.com, just look under our chapels and you'll see a neat little video that talks about just some of the special things we can do. We have a horse-drawn carriage that'll come down the sidewalk and pick you up. It's actually a Cinderella coach. There's no end to some of the special things that we can do here. But that's my story for, you know, as we're approaching the 10th anniversary of our very first wedding. Got a lot of special memories in this place. So check out the chapel at Stanley Park. Thanks for joining me on yourweddinghub.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and I look forward to seeing you back tomorrow on yourweddinghub.com. Thank you.